The evolutionary bus is leaving. So are you on it, or are you still at the station kind of left behind? Nobody ever gets left behind. Let's be clear. But it's more like, are you consciously on it, or are you just being dragged onto it? This month of May is like the month of opportunity.
Hello, fellow flames. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and I will help you live fearless, live loved, and live free. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. Today, we have Tatiana with us that is going to share the astrology report for May. Some really powerful energy has already came through from both of us as we each pulled a card from the deck, Twin Flame Ascension Oracle deck, which we will know in this month of May if it won the cover award. So we're super excited to announce that coming up. But we also each drew a card in order to share that with you today. But I'm going to let Tatiana start with the energy, because I could say a lot about the energy, but she's the pro at this when it comes to the astrology. So Tatiana, thank you for showing up today.
Thank you, Harmony, again for having me here. And this is like, wow. Okay, this end of April that we kind of saw a little bit in our past video, I just want to go back a little bit to that end of April. And as we're recording this video, we're not even there yet. So it's like, oh, what's going to happen? But now that you're watching this video in May, beautiful people, I would love to see what came up for you and comment, because the last 2 weeks of April into May is this crucial time of big karmic dissolution, big karmic endings of energies that have been trapped for eons. We're not talking like little things, because by the end of April, as we talked in last time, there's this conjunction of 3 planets, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune, bringing in this rise of the divine feminine, bringing in this expansion of consciousness and a deep trust in spirit and evolutionary forces. And it also helps dissolve anything in the illusion of separation. It helps dissolve all the pain from eons and thousands of years of oppression, of pain, of hatred. It's a time where we might see finally certain peace coming in. And as we come into May, because it's not like from one month to the next, it's like it's a story that's been unfolding. And I feel that with this big rise of the divine feminine completely like pouring into Gaia and everybody, there's going to be a lot of healing happening in the masculine, like huge. And I can tell you a little bit of a personal story in a bit. And the eclipses that we're having starting April 30th. And the energy of this eclipse is a huge portal. Like, I don't know if we have mentioned that eclipses usually are evolutionary portals. They open up, they push us through, and they evolve through 6 months. And it's like these doors that open, evolve, close, next one opens, evolve. And we're just kind of being squeezed through these times. Doing it consciously is what makes the whole difference in how you experience these changes that you have no real control over. And let's gonna talk about that. The ego will want to control things and want to know how to do it and figure details out. And with these massive forces that are at play right now, there's no eye control. There is the divine. The divine knows what it's doing. You just need to listen and be very centered, not scattered outside, centered. We start the month again with this massive eclipse and having Pluto retrograding. So when Pluto starts retrograding, everything that has been exposed in the past few months of power, domination, control, top to bottom structures, inner like power struggles, the desire to rule no matter what, to squeeze, to all of that has been exposed in your own life or in the world. Well, now these things that have been blatantly obvious and seen will start to be integrated now within. As Pluto retrogrades, what happens is the energy goes back into how can we integrate all of this so that we can be reborn. Because this is big rebirth energy. If May is not the rebirth month of a freaking whole year, then I don't know what is, because this is Aries season starting, but it culminates with a big Pisces energy. So what's going to happen in the first kind of 2 weeks of May after this eclipse? And this eclipse point has something also very important in it. And when I say the bus is either leaving with or without you, no, it's still living with you, but is that this eclipse is particular because Saturn is squaring the points of the eclipse, the nodes of the moon. And when Saturn is like, there's a tension. So there might be a desire to move forward into something that's brand new, it's beautiful, it's amazing, but it's difficult to make that decision because it requires commitment. It might feel that we're still pulled back into familiar patterns, into familiarity. So it's like we're in the comfort zone, but this is not comfortable. This particular move is not, yay, it's, can I do this? And the answer is yes. This is responsibility for our future. We're being called to be absolutely responsible. That's Saturn. And it might be difficult because Saturn may delay things, may make things seem like you need to step up to being responsible. And we've talked about this last month, but this time around, this is almost life altering. It's like choice point. And if we choose to stay in our patterns, in the comfort zone, not releasing the job, the friend, the person, the groups, the love life, the whatever is being called to be either completely released to make space for something new or completely transformed because our inner patterns transform. What happens if we have not taken this opportunity that is being given with immense amount of grace? That's the other beautiful part of this, is that there's so much help, so much grace. If you're not like crossing paths with a healer, a beautiful friend that just helps you open up, like it's grace raining down on us saying, please, this is time to be completely healed, moving past the illusion, because the soul is always whole. And this is almost what we're trying to get here, to these massive amounts of compassion and healing. And as we do this, there is a feeling or sensation that there might be a sense of loss. But loss is not just loss. Nothing is ever lost. It's just whatever you lose is not really lost. There might be that feeling, especially for people if your birthdays are at the end of the Virgo, the Gemini, or the Sagittarius, or anybody with, if you know a lot about astrology, you might know if you have planets there. And if you don't, you can always get a reading and guidance. It could feel like a crisis. So for some people, the sense of loss might feel like a crisis, but it's not necessarily a loss. It's a resolution. So you see, there's difference between loss and seeing something that needs to go as a resolution, as something that's completed. The Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. I'm going to share an image because the first 2 weeks of the month are going to have this feel of Pisces and Taurus. A lot of energy in these two signs. So if we see here, there is the energy of the flowing fish, the veil, the divine, the grace, the magic, the other side helping, the divine feminine. Venus is in Pisces, and Venus rules Taurus, where we have a lot of energy. The sun, Uranus, there's going to be like Mercury is exiting Taurus, but it has been there for a while. So the beginning of these 2 weeks has this quality of Venus. And if we know about Venus, Venus is pleasure, grace, beauty, compassion. The yin to its best expression is the goddess. It's about the compassion, the love, the receptivity. And this is the energy that we're dealing with in the first 2 weeks, all the while having to relinquish or release something And at the same time, it's a difficult choice point, but it's going to show as obvious in your life. So for twins, for karmic endings, I know this is a real time of karmic endings, so that this Christ consciousness energy, which is that Piscean stellium, can finally be integrated into the real, into the material world. So you see, here is the spirit world and here is the material realm. And this is when this energy can come to create this beautiful Taurus field. The Taurus field is connected to the earth, is connected to nature. It's almost like Gaia is flourishing, and it's the spring, is this energy where everything is beautiful, is rebirthing. So if this is happening in your life, and at the same time you're feeling there's something ending, and at the same time something being reborn, this is going to be major the first 2 weeks.
So this energy that you're describing is right on point with my energy report that I gave for the full moon back in April 16th, how that was the opening portal to that eclipse and how that led through to the new beginning, and people would have a choice to move forward, be stuck in the past, or a lot of people can be on the bridge and they're stuck trying to figure out in this gap of how to bring the two together. And so that's, to me, what this energy is all about, bringing the two together, because we're not fully just letting go of everything. It's like what is in the past is going with us, and then what in the future do we want to bring in, and how do we merge the two? And so if people didn't watch that full moon video that I did for April 16th for the Libra full moon, I would highly recommend going back and watch that. But everything you're also describing is a representation of the Fresh Start video series that I started at the end of April. And I recommend people get plugged into that because it started at the end of April and it's going through May as well. And that Fresh Start that I've been shown energetically, and which I have to say that video series got held up by about 3 weeks from what my plans were. And now I know why. Because the energy and the timeline based on what you're saying is exactly what that Fresh Start series represents. And it represents trying to take and put power and positivity into the change that we can embrace this new beginning. In order to create something new, we need to definitely let go of something, because otherwise we cannot have a new beginning without something coming to an end. But the problem is it's our perception, and our perception is that we're focusing on something ending and we're hanging on to that and we're staying stuck in that and we're having all kinds of emotions attached to that. But what we need to do is start to give ourselves the permission to enjoy the new beginning, because that's what this whole journey is about, is creating a new beginning, not just for ourselves, but for the earth. And we're continually changing. So we're constantly letting go. We're constantly becoming somebody new. And so it's important that we learn to face the fear around change so that we can embrace the positivity of the new, because this is what we came here to do.
The first week of May will bring about huge opportunities. That's why I say this is the month of opportunity. But you need to jump on that opportunity. You will see it, you will recognize it. Jump on it. Around May 3rd, when we have Sun conjoined Uranus, there might be something that suddenly just out of the blue shifts. You meet a person, you have a new opportunity, a job, like boop, boop, something appears out of the freaking blue.
That's when we get the results for our card duck. On May 2nd is when the results come in if it won the cover award. So opportunity, right? Because you'll be going to Denver in order for an awards banquet to receive the awards. So how amazing is that? So you're pinpointing the timeline. These
Opportunities that appear for you in your life, they might appear in a certain sense. There's energy supporting you to go for it. Like there is a sextile of Sun to Mars and Venus, Pluto. So there could be passion involved, love involved. There could be something that just hypes you up a lot. So expect hype, but you don't know, because it's kind of expect the unexpected, but there might be some hype involved. If you stay like complacent and kind of scared in your corner and just don't go for whatever life is really wanting to bring to you. Because again, this is almost like your soul's calling, saying, this is what you came here for, take it. At the same time, releasing that other thing. So it could feel confusing. But if you trust, and we have said this word a lot, the word trust in past month. If you're really trusting these energies, there's no confusion. The confusion comes when we're pulled into different directions and too much outside of ourselves, listening here and there to people, to what should I do? No, you know inside of you, you're the only one who knows really deeply inside of you what your soul is calling for. So the best thing is to attune to yourself, go within, and that will give you all the answers. Around May 2nd, 3rd, Venus ingresses Aries. So there might be like a renewed sense of all the Venusian themes around self-worth, around courage in relationship, courage. You might be renewed with a certain sense of courage. Maybe new relationships may form. Very possible, and may bring a lot of passion and new beginnings, especially for people who needed to release relationships or karmic entanglements and are doing the healing and have been doing the healing. This is when new things come, and there can be like the most amazing blessings. I feel also with this first week of May and end of April, May, the divine masculine is being called to heal with the help of the immense amount of energy that's coming through the divine feminine within. So remember, this is within energies. They can be healed and reflected with another. So whether you're by yourself on your own and you're not necessarily in a particular relationship or dynamic with or without a person, these energies can be showing up in yourself, or they can be showing up through another. And both or self is rebalancing and bringing a flood of that divine feminine. We might see a lot of the masculines, and we say masculines as, again, is within, but it could be the male people. Incarnated beings in masculine bodies might be being pushed to do a big healing with the help and aid of the divine feminine to hold space. If we do it consciously, what it looks like is that with that person in your life, you decide to sit in front of each other and go, why am I getting triggered by this? Can we talk about this? Can we weed it out? Can we do it with love? Can we actually see that this is not you, blame me, blame here, there? Can we see that this is something so deep and be compassionate and do it together? That is one way to do it. Another way is you by yourself, releasing and forgiving whatever still stuck of resentment, fear, doubt, abandonment, rejection. All those themes that are so ingrained in our collective consciousness are being up for release. It's interesting because the cards we pulled were exactly the king and the divine masculine.
I pulled the time to forgive and abandonment.
So what I feel about this, before Harmony speaks to it, and I did mention the word forgiveness. This is when we dissolve lifetimes and lifetimes of karmic cycles where the feminine couldn't forgive the masculine for all the hurt and the pain and the oppression. And so it's defensive. And again, the abandonment, the not, the rejection, then the feminine rejects the masculine, then it can't forgive, but then the masculine gets, it's all this. And remember, all this is happening inside of us, right? But this reflects in our lives, reflects in our reality, and reflects in the state of the world where there has been so much resentment in the past couple years. So this is the time where we call, like with infinite love, we call for people to do forgiveness practices like the Ho'oponopono. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. If you can do these practices with the people you love, and again, it could be with your lover, it could be with your friends, it doesn't matter. Your parents, your children. At this point, it's about the collective. It's not even anymore about romantic relationships. It's about healing us as a humanity. So this is what I invite everybody to do. Harmony, what would you say about this?
I'm going to try to keep mine as simple as I can, because I could say a whole lot about all of this, but I feel like that the key to this abandonment is, like you said, twofold. Number one is the divine masculine mix. It is the divine masculine within ourselves. And it's really about us forgiving our own divine masculine that has abandoned us for protection. And until we can stand in a place of feeling a sense of protection between us and God, then we can't technically understand and know what protection means from anyone else. So I think that this energy has done a couple things from what I've seen with people and what I've experienced. Personally, I went through that myself the entire last year of knowing that I needed to be my own protector. And now what I'm seeing is some people cross my path that hasn't fully protected themselves and feel a sense of abandonment or still have some judgment outside of themselves that is really the reflection of their own worth or value or ability to be in their power. I've triggered probably a handful of people at the end of April, and it created a sense of what could be considered conflict in a way. But I choose not to see it that way because I see it as an opportunity for me to also stand in the power of protection for myself, to say that I no longer have to tolerate what other people's stuff is. They might think their stuff is me, but I know it is not. And so therefore, they need to go heal their wounds, forgive themselves for abandoning themselves, or judging themselves. And for me, it's kind of on the flip side now, where I am standing in enough power to say, I don't want to include other people's chaos in my reality. That is my own boundary, that this is your shift to deal with. And my part of that shift says, I'm not going to be a part of it. It's opportunity to stand in my own power.
I love that. Because remember, we talked about the taking responsibility with Sarah in the notes and the personal choice. Absolutely. You might be assisted by anything in the divine, but in the end, the choice is 100% yours and the work is 100% yours. And yes, working with somebody to do that is beautiful, but it has to be two ways. It's not just one way. The time of the savior and the victim is done.
Right.
We might be caught still in the trying to save the other. And no, this is a mutual thing. If the other is doing the work and wants the help, good.
That has actually been my past part that I no longer needed to participate in. Is I wouldn't really call being the savior, but I had enough compassion, love, and empathy to hold space. Anybody could do whatever they wanted. I wouldn't take it on. It would just roll off my back and just be like, find love and gratitude and be there whenever they get over it. One of them in particular was the same one that's done that many times. And this time it's like, no, I don't have to deal with your shift. Well, I didn't say shift. I took the F out of it.
Yes.
And that is, like I said, coming into a place of what might sound harsh, but it's literally a profound moment in my own trajectory of saying, I'm not taking other people's shift with me.
Yes, that's, again, personal responsibility in relationships and relationship shifts. And the only way to do these new beginnings where new relationships are possible, and relationships, it doesn't mean it's like, oh, you have a new person in your life. Yes, that could look like that. It's like, how do we relate to people? Is how the whole point of this new template of the Christ consciousness coming in and having the divine masculine, feminine energies within like this means that we are going to be able to relate to others in a much more healthier, open, honest, beautiful, and harmonious way. And that is the whole point of all of this. We have not been going through this journey with so much pain and deception and this and that for like nothing. Is to realize that we can have beautiful relationships of all kinds.
Yes.
And that will invite also the relationship of man and woman, or feminine, masculine, or woman, or whatever couple you want to put.
And this is how we actually are doing the redefining of relationships as in the new beginning, because until we can have that inner balance of an inner relationship within ourselves and find that balance of masculine femininity within and learn how to dance between our own polarities, we can't do that with someone else. And not even just with, like you said, someone else, everyone around us.
Everyone around us. Yes.
And that's where these incidences are coming up for me and people, is because it's the imbalance of the polarities between those interactions to begin with. So those opportunities are coming up in order to rebalance the imbalance that was already there with our interactions with other people.
That's exactly what's going to happen. And to top it up, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde also this month towards May 10th. And that will give us also the opportunity to review and revisit all these things that we've been talking about from the month of April, all this time that we've been in this soup of shift. And we're going to have a good time to go inside and review and make sure that all these choices that come through this portal hole are aligned with our highest truth, are aligned with our values, are aligned with our heart's desire. And we'll have this opportunity to do that little checklist review. Is everything that's showing up in my life right now, including the new opportunities, aligned with everything that I know is true for me? Yes, check relationships. Yes, check job. Yes, check family. Yes, check friends. Yes, check community. Yes. Is it or is it not? And if it's not, don't worry, there's always opportunities. And this is something to understand. When a cycle opens and tries to push us into something, it will push us and we'll go, or we'll swim with it. Either way. That doesn't mean that that's it. The opportunity is closed. No, it means that when the weather changes, well, you can still do it. It's just going to be a little bit awkward. The energy is not supportive. It's like trying to plant garlic in May. I don't know. You see, it's like, it might not really grow, or I don't know. It's like, it's off season. So the idea of astrology is to put us in season. So yeah, this is the time to connect to spirit, to do forgiveness, to close chapters, to do deep healings, to look at ourselves, to make new structures that are going to be better for the collective in the whole. So it's less about me, myself, I, my ego, and my little desires of my little person. I'm more about what does spirit want for the planet. And I am an embodiment of spirit. Therefore, whatever I do, whatever I really desire is my soul's desires, not my little ego who desires, who's trying to hang on with their life to whatever power or projecting outside of itself. So this is a good time to see that and really do that. So May 13th might be a date where the sun is conjuncting the North Node. And we might have these surprises at the beginning of the month. Surprise something comes into your life. When the sun conjuncts the North Node, and this is going to be still squaring Saturn, this is the time where we're going to actually say, okay, am I on the bus or did I buy the wrong ticket? This is a good checkpoint for you to see if you're actually in the path. It's a good checkpoint. Again, it might feel like you're still being pulled back or you're being called to be responsible with your choices. That's the other thing with that Sun square Saturn and the nodes. It's like, okay, you made this choice to move forward in this direction. Are you sure you're choosing the right thing? And if you're sure, can you commit to it and go for it? And there'll be a lot of energy coming in because we're going to have around May 14, we have a Mars conjunct Neptune as well. So around this time, whatever you're going to fight for, Mars, it's in alignment with your souls and with the divine will, Neptune, Mars. So it's like... I always call this like the spiritual warrior. But what does that mean? That means that are you aligning with your own divine spirit or spirit acting through you? And you will act from spirit. And these are great times. This is what's beautiful about it is if we really align with that, we'll be full of, like, yes. And then Jupiter ingresses in Aries on May 13th. So that's what I'm saying. This is like go button. You press the go button. Once Mars enters Aries, that's like rocket fuel to the rocket. So let's look at the Aries energies, which are going to be more present in the second part of the month. So you see, this is Aries, and this is like, vroom, out into the sunset or the sunrise I go. It's all this new energy filled with bravado, like we have energy at our disposal to do anything. It might feel like there's so much excitement about the new. It's new, whatever. Again, for you, it could mean new anything, new way of being or new situation. And then there's this excitement. There's this, and courage. Aries brings courage. It could be impulsive as well. But the reason for impulsivity can be something good or bad, detrimental or positive. It's positive when we use it as the fearless factor. Go in without fear into the new, because this changes. If you're still scared, it's like, no, I'm just going to do it. Woo! Beware of the impulsivity though, because when we're too impulsive, we might run out of that jet fuel very fast and the rocket launches and then, we don't want that to happen. So what we actually want is for this energy to be sustained. And that's why Saturn squaring the nodes is asking, are you ready to sustain something new that's going to be brand new and make it into something in the long run? Because we're going to have a lot of Aries, new beginnings, and Taurus energy, which is grounding, fixed energy. Fixed, meaning whatever we're grounding in these times might be for the long term. So this is why this time is crucial in how you relate to people. Again, your checklist, just do your checklist. We might have these opportunities the second half of the month also when the sun trines Pluto. Whenever Pluto is involved in anything, these are titanic evolutionary forces wanting us to see ourselves in a new light. And the sun Pluto can be a very powerful expression or persona, even charming. And it's Pluto bringing about a deep transformation in a healthy way. So the ego is not a bad thing. It's just finding your true self-expression where you're completely authentic and express that. You can be very powerful. You can be a powerful influencer as well. This is the energy of the influencer, somebody that has magnetic qualities. But a magnetic quality doesn't have to be a authoritarian, oppressive dictator energy. Doesn't have to be that. It could be a magnetic quality of leadership, of presence, of empowerment, personal and to others. So you see, it's always that nuance. And this second week might bring a lot of that as the sun trining Pluto, and we can get empowered to be who we truly are. If that's not like amazing, then what is? And not only that, May 16th, when we have that empowerment, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And that lunar eclipse is also empowering us to transform all those old energies, compose them, and if we have not seen them yet, they will be revealed once again. Why? Because we can see where we have been having attachments to power, manipulation, the lower side of Scorpio energies. But these are supporting energies. These are like saying, no, you can move into a more kind, gentle, embodied, sensual way of existing. We all can as a collective. So that's our lunar eclipse. And we could talk about eclipses like much more. This is just a little overview. So you take the energy as you can. And along those dates, May 20th, Mercury trining Pluto is also bringing again the capacity for self-transformation by the full integration of everything that has happened that has made us see all our dynamics, our ego desires, all of that coming from the past month, relationship issues and whatnot. And because we're doing this Mercury retrograde with Pluto retrograde, this is going to be a great time to go, wow, now I see it. I see it. And now I can take full responsibility. The sun ingresses Gemini May 21st, and the energy will start shifting into maybe a little bit more lively energy, lighter. Again, with the fire and energy of the Aries, gives fire, fuel, rocket fuel to life. Jupiter, Mars, like all this like energy coming through. As the month starts, I feel like it's like revving up the engines is like the third week of May is rev up the engines. But by the last week of May, launch, and that's it. Now there's no way back, because when you launch a rocket and once it's in outer space, like it's hard to bring it back down to Earth. It's gone. It's gone. And I say, go time. It's free energy, and fire energy is just going up. There's an Aries stellium by the end of the month. So May 25th, we have Mars entering in Aries, and that's when you push the button. And there's going to be the moon in Aries, Chiron Aries, Venus in Aries. Yes, there might still be some fear with Chiron around, can I actually do this? But if you go beyond your fear or the pain that maybe it was too hard to go for what you actually wanted to in life, and you move beyond that, oh my God, blessings, raw passion. Yeah, Venus squaring Pluto on May 25th as well. There's a little thing. There could be too much passion. So we're going to have to tame the passion a little bit, because when it's too much, you might just like, oh my gosh, go out of orbit. Okay. So beware that with all this excitement, we also need to, where there's too much fire, you need to have a little bit of, ooh, okay, bring it, calm it down, bring some. Too much fire might just burn the house. Okay. So enough to make things going, but don't make a huge bonfire. Make it like a decent sized bonfire. Tame your energy. Otherwise, we could have raw passion going sideways. Maybe if you meet somebody new and there's let's say the new relationship, and you just burn all your fuel at once, then it will flop, right? So no, keep your, know that you have enough fuel. Like it's there. And just give it a little by little. I wrote down, go slow, please. Because this energy is so fast.
I'm already feeling all of what you're saying, which I'm usually always ahead, but I feel like I'm already in that rocket, and all of the momentum is like building up, and I can feel it's about to shoot.
Yes. And by the very, very, very end of the month, May 29th, when Venus ingresses Taurus, it's like all this, like, let's go, might start settling into, oh, okay, it's going to manifest. Because fire energy doesn't set or manifest, especially Aries, it initiates. But the Taurus energy sets things. And we've been having this big Taurus energy for the whole month, basically kind of active. At the same time, starting something, setting something, releasing something with Pisces. By the end of May, if you have not released that whole old dissolution of the end of April, well, you're going to be still dragging things that why are you dragging them? They don't fit in your rocket. Trust me, there's no baggage compartment in the rocket. This rocket has no space for baggage. You can only take a little day pack. That's all I have to say.
You're describing the trip we're already planning to Denver for the COVR Award, because we have to take a train from the airport to the hotel, the convention center, and that means we have to walk away. So I'm like, okay, we have to really condense our luggage.
Summary of the month. End of April, beginning of May, we're releasing, we're dissolving, we're making our life choices very consciously. We can do a lot of healing and processing with another with a lot of compassion and grace. Floods of grace, connectivity to self, connectivity to divine guidance, and that will be available in tons of energy of grace and beauty and healing. That's the first part. And then into entering the second part, we have that second vortex where we go, okay, we do a checklist. When you're packing for a trip, that's the exercise. What are we packing? for our rocket trip to outer space. What is essential for you? Actually, will be exercise for you to do your like packing list of important things for your life and your soul, and make a little checklist. I'm taking this, I'm taking that, I'm taking this. And then everything that you still have, like you're like, no, you make a little list. I'm not taking this, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking these patterns, these people, these situations, this. And then the list that you're not taking, you burn it. And you can do it on that solar eclipse of April 30th or May 1st, it's still active. You make your little ritual. You write all that you're not taking in your rocket trip. You burn it. You bless it. You do the oponoponos that you need with the people, the places. You do this massive forgiveness and release, and you let go. Then you write your new list. What am I packing? All that you want, and you do your little list. And you can do your little list on the other eclipse, which is the other moon, right? Which is the full moon. So on that full moon, I'm taking this.
And what date is that?
It's May 16th. Again, depending on where you're in the world, it might be a little bit before or after, but roughly May 16th. You can do your rituals, your full moon rituals, and this time make your little packing list. And instead of burning it, you might actually make beautiful drawings or something, make a little scroll and put it like by your bedside or where you can see it, or you can just have it somewhere as like, this is me, this is the new me, this is my goals.
So I see this is my perfect time to plan my self-love makeover time of my new image being birthed right in that time, because I've been like vlogging that too. So yay, I'm so excited for this energy, and thank you so much for sharing all this beautiful message, and thank everyone that's watching us and that's been following us. I just want to remind everybody, you can check out and get your card deck ordered below. And in addition to that, if you would like to get plugged into more information with Tatiana, you can find all the ways that you can go forward with her below. And especially, this is a perfect time for your soul blueprint to get plugged into an evolutionary astrology reading, so you know what the blueprint is for the new you, the new world, the new earth, and you can take action based on that. So I challenge you to use this time and energy towards that middle to the end of May for what you want to go forward, to get plugged in with her in order for you to be able to determine what your soul's plan is, because she can help you do it. So awesome. Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, everyone. Make sure to like, comment, share the shine. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.